who's going.
What was the most pleasing thing out of the win tonight?
We talked about evenness and role players and the saturation of that, which is really important for any team. Goes without saying, but I thought we had some outstanding performances, but everyone was really complicit and important in the win. So that's the thing that always encourages me, and our coaches, that you walk away and everyone's driving back down the highway feeling like they had a major contribution to a pretty special night.
2 really good wins back to back. The consistency of that, is that particularly pleasing?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think we all look at the contest and who you're playing week to week. You guys and girls do in regards to ladder position. If there's some promise in us, then you frank it by winning some of these games against teams who have gained notoriety up to this point. The Cats have had some momentum. The makeup of their team has probably evolved a little bit. It's always tough to win down the highway here. And so, I said before the game that other than the Port Adelaide game, we've been, pretty consistent. And I think tonight some of the individuals, there's growth, and that's not always linear. Next week's another challenge, but there's no doubt that some of the lads who haven't necessarily won their positions emphatically over the journey are gaining some confidence that they can against some of the best. That's important for us.
Rory Lobb's performance and Jeremy Cameron, how impressive is that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, he was just dominant. Him and Buku were just impenetrable. It was a telling key back performance. Difficult at times, especially when it was compressed into our end, with Rory having to play a little bit higher at times, but he was just quite magnificent, really. And I think that the whole back line, they just talked in the room then about the pressure that they could rely on, their read on the game, how it made their life easier, and granted it did, but I just thought right through there, whether it's the 2 we just spoke about, Taylor Duray, Nick Caulfield, Bailey Dale, Lockie Bramble, and then, Joel Fraser, a young man who's still learning what it's like to play at this level, being an important cog in that back 7.
Given the body of work Rory's put together now over the last 4 weeks as a back, is there a conversation we had in the next few weeks about, all right, you've got 2 years left on your deal, you're a long-term key back for us?
Well, it was no need for us to move away from what we're doing there, Mitch. There's no real need to make a statement about it because, in times in the future, if we lose key forwards through injury and we know we've got Lobby there and we'll need to make decisions around whether or not he needs to go forward or even if he needs to play in the ruck. But it looks a natural. Think about Rory, and it's been so difficult at times when he hasn't been in the team because, as I've said, he's too good a player. He's too good a professional, and he's too good a human being. It doesn't always count for much at selection sometimes, but I'm just really rapt that what he's doing means that he should never really his spot in the team if he's fit. It shouldn't be questioned. So we found a way forward with him, and I love the fact that he's got peace of mind, not just in his footy and his professional life, but just in general. And it's awesome because I know our supporters, our fans would just be loving what he's doing.
I feel like you've got a missing piece in the puzzle with him back there, potentially playing alongside Liam Jones when he comes back in a couple of weeks. Has that been something you've been searching for as part of doing this?
Well, not necessarily. James O'Donnell's a promising young key defender who we've been content with his performances. He's been playing some pretty good footy, and obviously he's out as well with 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 Liam Jones, with Jonesy, because I'm trying, because we've had so many go through there, because Ryan Gardner's been out all year, and so we've got a bit of depth back there. Jed Busson is playing well at state league level, and Alex Keith's back from injury, so there's a bit of depth, and so it's not necessarily something that it's not the missing piece. I think we've got ourselves into a bit of a bind at times where we just haven't played that front half game consistently enough, and that's to do with the defensive aspects and the pressure aspects. But there's no doubt that it might be reasonably, you might be comfortable with it, but Rory's made a difference in that it's gone to a better level. He's raised the bar a little bit, so that's promising.
People there's a push for a national reserves comp, which may see more curtain raisers. Do you think what we saw tonight, would people have deterrent around that, given the state of the ground and what the curtain raiser did to the venue?
I don't think, is that what people are talking about, Mitch?
Well, I know there's just a general consensus that some clubs and people want to see a national reserves comp and more curtain raisers coming to the game.
Yeah, look, I mean, the ground, because we had a lot of rain. Look, it rained all through the night last night. So, in a sense, the ground actually held up half okay. There was a part of the ground probably, up this end of the ground that was probably a little bit more churned up than the rest of it. But I don't think so. I don't think people are worried about that. I don't think the players are concerned about it. We did make the comment, some of the older boys, that it's still like a bowling green to us compared to what we used to play on. So, and obviously the greenskeepers here will have a challenge to get it flat again and ready for the Cats to train on. But I don't think it might deter the groundskeeper. They might lobby against it, but for the rest of us, I think we're all okay with it. It's handy for your own itinerary and your scheduling that you're both playing on the same day, because it means you line up with your training, you can manage your troops accordingly. It's much more difficult when you're playing either side of each other, days apart.
Jamarra Ugle-Hagan, was that a step forward for him tonight? Not just the 4 goals, but what he was doing off the ball. Chris Scott just said before he was probably one of your best pressure forwards tonight as well. Does that really help when you're trying to bring in the 3 tools and get them all playing together well? Yeah, look, I mean, we need to make sure that there's separation, and even you can play a horizontal sort of a formation, a bit of a vertical one. He learned 1 or 2 things from his game last week against Carlton, and we probably had him up a little bit higher here and there, and that's made a little bit of a difference for him. So, we probably spun those guys a bit more than we usually do because of the conditions and the pressure game we're after. And look, Sam Darcy only missed 2 weeks of suspension, but he missed a bye. Just coming back into some momentum in game now, covering the ground better. North's missed a lot of footy, another one under his belt. I think they'll all be better next week. So, Mars knows that we just need his contest, we need his pressure that you talk about, and that you can tell his chase and his want to tackle is there, and that really helps us. And it's great to see, and it's good to see him get some reward in the last quarter as far as hitting the scoreboard.
Your mitts hit the scoreboard as well, and it felt like the balance there was really good. How encouraged were you by them tonight, especially given you're about to come up against Sydney again? Yeah, they were. They worked well together. A couple of pinch hitters in there, but probably the mainstay 4 in Marcus and Adam and Tom, Lib and Ed Richards. They were pretty good. They got a little bit of assistance from Sando and Westy and Flea early, but I love their games, and they accumulated, but they just had a presence around the ball, and it was a night where you had to keep it a bit simple. You had to take the ball forward. You couldn't be too cute. I think when
when we did try and bring the ball back inside with our hands once or twice in the first half, we paid for it, and I think they learned from that, the boys, and we executed it better in the second half.
Come out of it okay? No injuries?
I don't think so, no. As I was procrastinating a little bit around the sub, but it all worked out okay.